Hello everybody, this is DeanoGTO, and today we're looking at the VK3002D, the Tier 7, well, one of the Tier 7 German medium tanks. So, this is probably the less, I said probably, this is definitely the less common of the two German Tier 7 medium tanks. You have the choice of the Panther or the VK3002D. So the Panther, everybody knows the Panther, everybody loves the Panther. VK3002D, most people look at it and just go, why would I drive that? It's just a paper tank. Why should I give a shit about it? Well, the reason you should give a shit about it is probably because I would say it's probably top three. By the way, bit of a glitch in the replay there. I actually left it recording in the background. Or I left it playing in the background accidentally, and I did actually blow away those boxes in the actual game, but they weren't rendered correctly in the considering I rewinded the video. So rewinded the replay, so that's why that looked a little bit weird. The boxes were there in the actual game, they weren't there in the replay for some reason. But yeah, so face to face with Comet. Comet's well known for its DPM, but you're seeing here that, well, I think most of the failings in this game are due to me, not the actual tank. Like, a lot of the time I'm just driving badly, and the worst decision you ever have to make in this game is a choice between healing your gunner or your commander. That decision always sucks. And get to nail the Udez before he got to fall back because he got greedy. And yeah, that's him gone. And I bounced an Oni 150mm shot, 150mm AP shot. So that was lucky as hell. He only has 120 pen, but if I had gotten unlucky there and I got a high penetration roll, I think there was a good chance he could have potentially penetrated me and just nuked me next week. So, now we're in a situation with two Tier 7s in front of us. We have, let's see, what do we have behind us? We have we have one Tier 6 tank destroyer, Tier 7 tank destroyer, and an STR-VS1, and Tier 7 tank destroyer again. Cromwell B, and T-3045, the 5916 is on the other side of the map. So, well, we have a reasonably strong presence on this side of the map in comparison to them. I think this is all they really have on this side of the map. Just these two guys, the only ones that are left. So, actually, just while I've got this paused here, just want to quickly mention, schedule's changed a little bit in regards to my computer. I'm probably going to be getting it sometime early next week, not on Friday like I had originally hoped, because, well, the guy who I've sent it off to is going to go over and check every single part individually to make sure there's nothing wrong with any of them individually. So he's going to need some time in order to go through all the different parts and make sure they're all fine, make sure there's no issues, just so that I have peace of mind that there's not going to be anything going wrong with any of the parts anytime soon. Plus, he has to, plus I've changed my mind on what I was going to do with the hard drive. The hard drive, I'm going to have it wiped. I'm going to get an SSD for the operating system install. I'm going to keep the old hard drive I have in this one right now as the backup hard drive for the say for example you get 128 gigabyte SSD. You keep your Windows install on that there, and you keep the hard disk drive for all your games and stuff, just so you have the additional space, but you have the extra power of the SSD drive. Because SSD drives, you don't know, SSD drives are infinitely quicker than hard disk drives, and this is a 3.5-year-old hard disk drive, so it makes a lot of sense for me to get an SSD rather than keeping on with the old HDD that I have right now. And this Oni, he tried being ballsy and he got wrecked. Like, he just got annihilated. The STR-VS1 killed the Oni, the Jag Panther killed the Comet. So we're actually looking pretty strong at this point, 6-3. They have two Tier 8s remaining. What was their other Tier 8? No, yeah, 0-3. Oh yeah, I killed the Udez. Forgot about that. We have two Tier 8s remaining as well. Our Tiger 2 somehow died. He must have been on the other flank. I didn't see how he died. And I just put my commander back in action, so I made the right choice at the time of healing my gunner instead of my commander. It's always a tough decision because overall versatility wise the commander is better to have in, but in terms of just overall usability, for doing damage and stuff like that, there you always want to put your gunner in. It depends on the situation you're in. It's always hard to make that decision though, no matter what's happening in the game, unless you're on Himmelsdorf or something, of course. But yeah, so here is me going basically shooting as a T-32, trying to use double bursts the best I can. track the T32, which angles him pretty much perfectly so that I can't penetrate him anymore. And I actually get really lucky that now he's angled so that I can physically not penetrate him anymore. So I'm basically going to just continue shooting them in the side, hoping for the best. You never know, sometimes you can get lucky. And my sixth sense didn't go off at all, and I'm actually just going to point this out right now. This entire time, I actually hadn't realized I don't have sixth sense on this tank. I have been playing this tank like I have sixth sense for a long time. I looked at my crew after this game, thinking, yeah, I've definitely got sixth sense in this thing. I'm going to try and retrain for Brothers in Arms or something. Then I looked at the crew and realized, oh my god, I don't have sixth sense on this crew. Holy shit. So I think I got insanely lucky with the tanks I was shooting at, because I'm behind a bush, which will give me some extra concealment. I don't know what the view range is on a Scorpion. I really do not know what that is. So it's a bit of like a blank in my knowledge of the game. But yeah, the Scorpion has pissed off at max speed, but I'm getting a lot of spotting damage here, and this is why it pays to use the binoculars equipment on your lower tiered vehicles. Like tier 7 is probably the best tier in the game for using binoculars on like medium tanks as an example, because you can still like, because medium tanks at this tier are still fast enough to consistently be used as scouts. The highest tier scout medium I would call, like as I describe it, would be the T44. T44 is like the last tier 8 medium that can really play as like a pseudo scout. All the others I don't really recommend it because, well, they're either too big or they're too slow. I mean, like, you can't scout in a Centurion, you can't scout in a Pershing because like they're just too big and too slow, whereas T44 is small and fast. So their last tank alive is the VK3001P, so that was actually a really, really solid game. 3001P I think is on the verge of dying here soon, and he got obliterated and he is dead. So that was 4 kills to me. Pretty solid game. 1700 damage done, 1800 assistance damage. I actually don't know if I got any blind shots. I think I fired a blind shot at the Scorpion, so I don't know if I did any damage to him. I wasn't actually paying attention to what his health was before he was spotted later on. So yeah, overall it was a pretty decent game. Got a shit ton of spotting damage, primarily because I had the binoculars activated, and if I hadn't had the binoculars activated, this wouldn't have been a particularly good game. But it was 1700 damage, which is about 50% more than my hit points, roughly, if I had to guess. Actually, it's just under 50% more than my hit points, but probably about 40%. But yeah, pretty solid game, showing off the 88mm. How it's just an amazing medium tank gun. This gun on medium tanks is awesome. It is really, really awesome. I actually recorded a game in the Skoda T40 earlier, which is actually going to be coming out next week, sometime next week. And this gun is just so much fun to use. I love this 220 Alpha, rapid firing, pretty consistent 88mm gun, because I know them like the back of my hand at this point. I use them all the time. I love this 88mm. You give me a premium tank with this gun, like the Skoda T40 as an example, I love it to bits. But the heavy tank number 6, the Tiger 131, I think they're too slow to properly make use of this gun. They are not quick enough to do it. But yeah, this is probably like the best version of this gun in the game. I'm trying to think of like a tier 8 where this gun would be usable, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. Like a tier 8 scout tank maybe, but there is no tier 8 scout tank with this gun. But yeah, this gun is spectacular on this tank. This is the best platform for this gun in the game, as far as I can recall. I can't think of a tank which could really use this here, because I mean the Skoda, or no, what's it called, the TVP VTU, that couldn't really use this gun, if I'm completely honest, because it just doesn't have the pen for a tier 8. In terms of tier 7s, I actually genuinely can't think of any other tier 7s that you would really be able to use this gun consistently on, because you couldn't use it on Tiger 1, you couldn't use it in Tiger P. The T34-100 doesn't get access to it. So yeah, this is the best platform for this gun in the game, as far as I can recall. So yeah, let's go on to the post-game stats. Okay, so this game was worth an ace tanker, no other special awards of any sort, 2,438 XP, which is doubled, 26,728 credits made. Nothing else really to bring attention to. It looks like, well, no, I didn't hit any shots in the Scorpion, so it looks like I didn't do more than 1,700 damage. And yep, looking at team scores, 1737 damage, 1219 base XP. I think, let's see. Oh yeah, the highest damage in that game was our team's Scorpion G. I was, I think, third highest damage. I think that's right. No, I was second highest damage. So pretty solid game for tier 7 and a tier 8 game. And in terms of the detailed report, I got 21 shots fired, 16 direct hits, 10 penetrations. So that's not particularly good, but I guess that's probably because I spammed a bunch of shots at the T32, which probably were not going to pan, and I kind of knew they were not going to pan. But yeah, that kind of explains. Like, and the thing is, like, that's one thing you do. One thing you do need to take into account with this gun. The shots are really cheap. It's like 220 or something credits per shot. That's nothing, so you can just fire away pretty much and not really worry about losing too much credits. I mean, I actually spent less on the resupply of ammunition than I did on the repairs for my vehicle, and I used my medkit twice, which was only 3,000 credits. So still made 12,472, which is alright, I guess. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything that really needs to be said about this game. The VK3002D, though, I think is probably one of the most underrated tier 7 mediums in the game. I think it's probably one of the best, but people just never really gave it a shot, so don't really know. Like, I loved this thing pre the huge buffs that I got in a couple patches ago. I mean, it used to be it had a turret that traversed like a tog. Um, and yeah, it was like it had basically Hellcat turret traverse or some shit like uh with a massively quick chassis. So you would use your chassis in order to be able to get your gun on target. You would basically ignore the fact that your turret turns because your turret turns so slowly in comparison to everything in comparison to your actual hull. So that was the way I learned to play this thing. So having with the fact that this thing's turret now traverses so quickly and still pretty decently strong, if you hit anywhere outside the actual turret face, you're going to bounce pretty much because it's just an auto ricochet zone. It's kind of like the E50 in that regard. Actually, I think this thing's probably more representative, thinking about, of the E50M playstyle than the Panther is. But the Panther's body shape, I think, is the reason why it is in the why it's in the E50M line. But I feel like this thing, well, the one issue is that there's no real tier 8 version of this tank. If there was a tier 8 version of this tank, I would say put this at tier 7, put the tier 8 version at tier 8 in the E50 line, and put the Panther and Panther 2 in the Leopard 1 line, because those tanks are way more like sniper based than the E50 and E50M. The E50A and the E50M can afford to ram stuff, kind of like this thing can. Although this thing here does have significantly less pen and less accuracy than the E50 and E50M, but I guess that's the case for most tier 7 vehicles just in general. Tier 7s don't typically have very good accuracy, but yeah, that's kind of like a crazy idea. Like, but it's never going to happen. Like the Panther 2 are pretty much guaranteed to always be part of the E50M line. But I feel like this tank, I feel like it's kind of a shame that more people don't get a chance to play this thing. A lot of people are going to get to the Leo 1 and Leo PTA by the light tanks, and they're never going to touch this tank because people see it as like, there's no point. I'm going to go up the light tank line anyway. What's the point in going up the medium line? Well, in my opinion, you're going to miss out on one of the best, well, one of the most fun tier 7 mediums in the game, which is kind of a shame, honestly. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I really need to say. I think my computer, I think I'm going to be getting back on, I think, probably Monday or Tuesday next week because I've changed my mind on a couple of things that I want to get done to it. Like I'm getting my old hard drive wiped and going to get an SSD, stuff like that. And like I feel like the wee bit of a delay would be worth it just in order to be able to get like the maximum output out of my computer from the very start rather than waiting until later. So yeah, that's just a general like update on like what's going to happen. So it's not like I'm not going to be getting it back today itself. Well, today will be Friday when this video goes up. So yeah, I just realized I've been rambling for 5 minutes. So I'm going to stop this here. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.